Hi guys, welcome. We're doing a little live show because I don't have enough time to edit today, so I wanted to make sure to give you guys some technical analysis for the SPY Qs, Apple, Tesla, Amazon, Nvidia, AMD, and Meta. Looking forward to going into some AMC and GME and paying attention to volatility as that is making some reversal signals. And we actually have a reversal signal right in front of us. To start off this video, I know that this is live, but if you're coming in late or something like that, this will be a regular video, so make sure to go back to the beginning and make sure you are checking that out, okay? Because we're going to talk about some things that are happening as of this moment that could be relatively bullish. As we're seeing, we're noticing that a lot of these things are coming down. We notice that there is a 30-minute divergence here. We have those new updated daily expected moves. We do have 575.72 to the upside, and we do have 559.92 to the downside. But before we really talk about this analysis here and how important this level is and how important this reversal signal can be, I really wanted to point this out. The dock workers strike is suspended, the union says. And as we scroll down just a little bit here, you're going to notice that a tentative agreement was reached on wages and extending the master contract until January 15th, 2025 to return to the bargaining table to negotiate all other outstanding issues. Okay, so effective immediately, all current job actions will cease and all work covered by the master contract will resume. So this means that they are overall going back to work as of, I believe, tomorrow. So because this type of story was probably the big reason that the market was seeing some turmoil, we need to pay attention to the fact that it's kind of subsiding for the time being, and they're going to revisit some things come 2025. Okay, so now we can kind of go into some technical analysis, and you're more than welcome to, chat in here, by the way, in the comment section here in the chat. But we're just mainly going to focus on some technical analysis here. Okay, I'm really going to try to treat this like a regular video. I just don't have a lot of time to edit. So what I wanted to pay attention to, once again, if you need those daily expected moves for tomorrow, these really spread out. So a huge amount of implied volatility. The thing that was interesting about the implied volatility all week was we had big ranges for those daily expected moves like all week. And we really didn't have many days where we reacted to those areas, okay? And by the way, since people are showing up, make sure to tune in to the beginning of the video so you can look for that story I just talked about the dock workers strike actually starting to be suspended until January of 2025, okay? Make sure you're paying attention to the beginning of the video. I'm just gonna say that multiple times. So for the most part, what do we wanna pay attention to? Well, the fact that we haven't really hit those daily ranges very often this week. We've kind of chopped below one, and then we really didn't react and touch those ranges throughout the whole time, and they've been big the whole time. So you're really bottled up in here, and this can be a form of good news that can really send you higher, right? We actually had a moment as of today where you actually did get this little green bar down here. If I kind of zoom in on this, you're going to see this little green bar on the 30-minute that said, hey, there is divergence at this level, and then you notice we fall back down, manage the trade. We get some good news after the close, and we see that curl back up towards the end of the day, though. So we did get that good news after the close. We're noticing that there is a 30-minute divergence on the MACD. You do have that 30-minute divergence on the RSI at the same time, just so you're aware. And this can turn up a 2-hour chart. So this is the overall bullish scenario here, is this 30-minute divergence has crossed, which means you have a higher probability to see some kind of extension here. We do like our 30-minute charts around here. So the 2-hour is going to be something to pay attention to. Now, even if we do head higher, be cautious going into Friday. We're still in a moment where the dollar is very elevated, but this can extend for a few days, maybe going on into next week. And weirdly enough, tomorrow, we actually still get unemployment data and non-farm payrolls. So we'll have to see how that affects the market. We still want to realize that this daily scale has crossed, right? So this could be short-lived. This could be some kind of move up that then ends up fading throughout the day. So that is something to pay attention to. At this moment, the daily has crossed, meaning the most likely scenario, even with that 30-minute signal, the most likely scenario in the bigger time frame, the daily, right? Daily momentum is a little bit stronger, is a pullback, right? So that's where we're going to talk about the other side of the spectrum. We're going to talk about some bearish things here for the time being. As you can see, if I really zoom out, we saw the breakout above these levels, right? We came up above all these levels here. So reacting down into that level to grab liquidity, coming down, completing that full cup is something that I am paying attention to. see if you get that handle, and then break that level. That is going to be a key thing to pay attention if we're going to go down throughout the early parts of the day. And thank you guys so much for joining. Really appreciate it. Make sure to like the video, guys, because this is kind of a different format we're doing tonight. I'm just a little bit low on time, so please like the video. I really appreciate when you guys like the videos, and thank you so much for subscribing as well. We're going to switch right over to the Qs, and you're going to notice again another bigger range, right? So we do have a bigger range again for the Qs, and it looks like 489.61 to the upside and 473.57 to the downside. And notice where that is. It is within some liquidity. So if we do react down, that would be a big cup to complete. And then guess what? That would take you outside of the daily expected moves. 68% chance as the weekly and daily are here. This is the most likely area to land by the end of Friday close, at Friday close. So if we do react down, look for us to bounce back up. And then if we're able to cross one more time, we will be completing and going more into a negative trend, right? We're really confirming that negative trend. So that's going to be something to pay attention to for the Qs. But as the Qs are holding up a little bit better, you notice that the SPY made a divergence, while the Qs are kind of trying to solidify this as a higher low. You can really spread out this MACD. You can see we tried to confirm some upside right here. We fail, manage the trade, curl back up. So this hasn't curled up yet, so we can't say that this is overall confirmed at this point. But this can still be, hey, this is really close to the center line. If that goes positive, we can start to turn up a 2-hour chart. And that 2-hour chart is really close to the center line. So we do have the opportunity here to actually test this level right here. I'm not going to include this, but we do have this level right here, or go make a new high, okay? So that's something I'm going to be paying attention to. Even if that does happen, just note this thick red line is the annual expected move, the expected move for all of 2024 for the Qs. So if we do something like this, and then that lasts for a few days, and then we curl back down, you will have a reversal signal here. So it's just a time where I think things could be a little bit choppy. We're seeing a little bit of a reversal signal going into options expiration, going into important data, and we just got some good news with the dock workers strike. So is this going, and this is my thinking with this, is this going to be a moment where people are euphoric because the dock workers strike is suspended and we kind of forget about the unemployment data? We let it wash off, and then we see selling with the options expiration kind of completing on Friday. Because if people just think, oh, the dock workers strike over, everything's good, we're back to bullish, but they don't really pay attention to the fact that maybe unemployment got revised, right? That revision got revised back up. Maybe unemployment actually ticks up again right now. That would be some interesting stuff. So I really want to pay attention to the revision, and then I want to pay attention after that to the actual number from unemployment, because the revision can say, oh, unemployment ticked up, but then we could get that fake piece of data that says, oh, but it went right back down. Okay, so that's going to be what I'm paying attention to tomorrow. I will be live tomorrow morning because today, I mean, if you're part of Patreon, you can get more info if I'm going to be live or if something's happening. I've just had some serious back problems lately, and it really caused me not to be able to sleep like more than, I think, 30 minutes. Yesterday. So that is why I overall wasn't live today. I had to go really just relax and make sure to rest because running on no sleep, I don't want to give any analysis or anything like that. I really want to be my best self when I do come on those live videos. So thank you guys for the patience. Thank you guys for that. And I do apologize for not being live today, but I don't want to do you a disservice by not fully being able to be my best. And that's going to be a big thing. But I'd be paying attention to if that news does produce some good things, because we did give the daily expected moves out on Patreon for these individual stocks. And you're going to notice something very interesting here from even something like Apple. When you're looking at this 2-hour chart, it's still relatively close to the center line. We are still in our little buy zone that we thought we'd react to. And you're seeing these two lows. And so if this 2-hour is going to turn up and see a positive move, maybe even break above these highs, right? Maybe we complete all this and do this big measured move. Well, then we might see a 30-minute reversal signal. And that's exactly what you have for Apple down here. You do have the divergence on the MACD. You do have the divergence on the RSI at the same time. And Jim, I am feeling 10 times better. I took a decent size nap. I don't nap at all anymore. I used to nap all the time, actually. When I first started trading, I really liked to trade in the morning, take an hour nap, and then come back and trade some more. It was just a weird thing that I did. It was very, very awesome. I remember those times when I was first really getting into technical analysis. It was a very good thing for me, but there is a 30-minute signal here that I want to pay attention to, because if this is curling up and you notice there is a tiny bit of green there telling you that's a good sign. So I think the 2-hour does have the highest probability to turn up, and we give you those daily expected moves on Patreon. Look at the link down in the description, you guys. That information on Patreon is so freaking useful, especially if you've already taken the course, okay? If you've already taken the course, you understand how to use weekly ranges, that is going to be very beneficial, and something like that on no nap, exactly. Yeah, you become a parent, and thankfully grandma stepped up today, right? Abuela stepped up today, and we were able to kind of hand her off, and she loves her abuela. So me and the wifey were able to hang out. I was able to clean my Glock. I was able to take a nice nap, and everything's dandy, because I did go training with a bunch of cops over the weekend, and my buddy actually told me that I'm probably a better shot than most of the cops in the city. So I was like, oh, that's awesome. But getting back to it, this is a good reversal signal. Now we're going to look at things like Tesla, and you're not necessarily going to see the best reversal signal. The key thing here is there's a bullish thing, there's a bearish thing. And this is like we tried to make divergence. You're not seeing it on the MACD. You almost made it on the RSI. I think you do have the opportunity to bounce, but look how obviously we have really completed that cup. And if we get that handle, it's not going to look very good, and that could be a big measured move to the downside for Tesla. So that's something I'm paying attention to as we look at a 2-hour chart. We notice that's still within range of going positive. So weirdly enough, actually, because Tesla has so much implied volatility for the month of October, which we give the monthly expected moves on Patreon, right? If you take the course, it's very good to look at those monthly expected moves. We've seen great trade setups for the SPY with those monthly expected moves. But that's going to be really beneficial for you to get, if you take the course, to get a part of that Patreon. So if this 2-hour does curl up, even though it's in negative territory, it's still close enough to that center line where, weirdly enough, Tesla actually could go make a new high here. Right? Tesla could reverse this all around. So if we're not going to do this, then that 2-hour curls up, and maybe we're able to come to this area and actually make a little cup and handle the opposite direction, okay? And this was kind of a blip. So that's something I'm paying attention to for Tesla. As we go over to Amazon, that 2-hour looks like it wants to cross up. Little bit different story for Amazon. That's a little bit deeper than something like Tesla, right? We noticed that. So still a lower high is very likely here, and I think you're going to either test these areas in here towards 184.50, right? These levels in here where that gap fill is, or you might even head up a little bit higher. But anytime that rotates back down on this MACD is when I want to pay attention. Okay, you still can see that bullish move, but we're going to need to complete that cup up here, maybe get that handle to head higher. So that's something I'm paying attention to with Amazon. Does it have the opportunity to cross up on the 2-hour? Well, the 30-minute is really going to tell us, and maybe I will look through some other stocks, by the way. We're just treating this like a regular update video as of right now, but at the end of this video, maybe just save your other stocks you want us to look at for the end of the video. Okay, guys, just stick around for a minute. We'll get through it, and then I'll look at some other stuff for you guys, okay, towards the end of this video. So what we're seeing here is a big 30-minute divergence. Very, very good, because this is upward on the RSI. You see how if I hold my little dotted line, hey, we see a little gap between there. So it's a little bit up, but it's very significant on the MACD. And this is something we were paying attention to, right? We were like 30-minute crosses down bad. That's exactly what it was, but look out for divergence. We always say that. We say this is really bad. If it makes and completes that divergence, it can be a good sign. You can see how we would head higher is actually reacting up towards 186, 187. Actually, probably 180, 186.75, 187. Get that reaction up, kind of consolidate, and then curl back up. That'll give you the great structure for a bullish move. Okay, so that's something we're paying attention to for Amazon. Amazon really looks like it wants to bounce, and I believe in the post market right now, Amazon is actually up almost 1.5 points. So I'd be paying attention to Amazon if that crosses up early on in the day. See if that 2-hour is able to rotate up as well. Now, we do have a little bit different story with something like Nvidia, okay? Nvidia really doing the V shape here. And if I go into a 15-minute, I'll probably see at least a rejection divergence down here at the low. And actually, I got a divergence. We got a little red blip. So we do have that divergence down here at the low. And boom, to the upside. Was that able to curl up the hourly? Yes, it was. And that's what we were really paying attention to. Can these hourlies start to turn up? So now you've kind of consolidated. If we see that as some bullish things, well, what can happen here is we kind of have already completed the cup with this very strong move. We're consolidating at this level, so a breakout would be a good thing. And if you do break out, watch for a retest right away because you will be relatively overbought on a 30-minute. And the 2-hour was able to rotate back up, and it is in positive territory. So you have a chance to do what? Test the high, go make a new one. Looks like we've already tested these levels. Now we have to see, does that have a little bit more steam in it to go make that new high and get that breakout moment? And wouldn't that get everyone euphoric? And then if you see that 2-hour, right, if this isn't just going to be a simple retest on a 30-minute and curl back up, that 2-hour can rotate down, and that's not a very good signal to see, okay? So that's not a very good signal to see up here, especially if that happens quickly on a Friday. So I'd be paying attention to that for Friday expiration, just in case there is some kind of rug pull, some kind of news that comes out, Israel, maybe that story starts to take over World War III, maybe there's some retaliation there. So that's something that I would be paying attention to, but we're just following the signals, right? We're following the signals here, and that's the important part. As of right now, the bearish thing would still just be an hourly or a 2-hour to rotate down, keeping it very, very simple. If that 30-minute curls down, you're just going to notice there's a little bit more room here to just be a pullback, get a more significant handle, and then curl up into positive territory. So that's something with Nvidia we're paying attention to. AMD saw a pretty good move in the morning, and you're almost seeing the same thing, right? We're going to a level where a cup and handle would make sense, or some kind of consolidation at this level would make sense. We get excited, we wick out, we pull down. So you have curled down on this 30-minute. You're going to want that to rotate back up into positive territory, right? We want that to rotate back up. Look for us to consolidate again up towards this 169.58 level, because that's a key level we've marked off for a long time. We see resistances in that area, not exactly all the time, but in that area. I probably should draw a zone there, but 30-minute rotates up. Look for this to create some kind of bigger handle in that area. As we can see from AMD, the 2-hour has not rotated back up yet. So your main bullish signal, even if you get that consolidation, this most likely curls up the 2-hour, right? If we get up to these levels, then you got to see if that 30-minute's going to pull back and curl back up. And then you go, okay, this is a safe swing to the upside. So this is what I'm paying attention to for AMD. As we look over towards Meta, Meta actually was able to curl up on the 2-hour. So this actually can project a little bit higher, but I just want you to notice why I'm worried that stocks still will suffer maybe by close on Friday or going into Monday, just because this is really squeezing at this point. The momentum on this move is not looking pretty. We still are making another point. This is what you want to pay attention to for the bear side, 30-minute rotating back down. As far as it goes, if the 2-hour, maybe you just see something crazy, right? This is why daily expected moves are great, because Meta, we can get that daily expected move. Maybe we see some euphoric thing like this, and then it just starts to fade back down, and we see that 2-hour divergence with the 30-minute divergence behind it as well. So that's going to be something to pay attention to for something like Meta. Let's just tap into AMC and GME. Remember, we talked about the fact that 437 could be a key level again up in these areas. 437, right? If we break down, if we really cross down, 437 is what I'm paying attention to. We've made some sort of divergence down here on a 2-hour scale. This is where we want to pay attention, because this is something else that kind of worries me for Friday. If AMC and GME are going to see the big moment, you actually would expect a lot of the collateral that they're using as far as Nvidia and other stocks like that go, stocks within the market, to actually suffer a little bit. So if that's going to happen and AMC and GME are going to see a big moment because you have a 2-hour signal here that could rotate up the daily, then that might not be the best thing for the market, and we want to pay attention if that dollar is still rising, if this if stocks overall are going up and AMC and GME have these reversal signals. Remember that on Sunday we will be updating this level, okay? This level does change every week. This is the level to see something crazy to get through. You have to get through these levels to see something crazy. This would take the options market off guard. So 504 is what you're looking for tomorrow. We also have the daily expected move for tomorrow on Patreon down in the description. But for the most part, just make sure you're subscribed so you can tune into Sunday's video. GameStop, another one to pay attention to because we have to see if this daily is going to rotate down. GameStop does not have the good reversal signals in this area on those little time frames. The daily looks like it needs to curl down, right? So we might go make some kind of double bottom, some kind of test of that actual 200, right? Test right on it, see if that creates another point of divergence, because that could be, oh, this thing's dead, and then you just see that reverse and you go, that's a big reversal signal. That's why we teach people about it. That is a massive reversal signal if you make a triple divergence here for GameStop. So that's going to be key. Just like AMC, we are going to update this level as far as Sunday goes, so make sure you're subscribed. But 2480 is the key level for tomorrow as far as the weekly goes. And then we do give the daily expected moves for those as well. Now we want to go pay attention to volatility, because volatility is still curled up on the daily scale, and this looks like, uh-oh, things can still be very, very bad. That's still crossed up. So until that crosses down, right, until that crosses down, I don't really feel safe, right? I want to be cautious as this is curled up. If that curls down, we can maybe see a big-ass squeeze, right? So what I want to be looking for are reversal signals. And that's the thing with this 30-minute chart. This is something I was paying attention to throughout my day. We have a bunch of little divergences in here. It looked like we were trying to do some kind of consolidation towards these highs, right? Some kind of cup and handle maybe to really see that breakout. But we keep seeing these little wicks so in this reading, and we are forming a bunch of divergences on the MACD, a bunch of divergences on the RSI. So this is really leaning me towards the 2-hour crossing down. And you notice that that 2-hour is a little bit up there, and you actually have a divergence here as well for the 2-hour. So if that 2-hour rotates down, you actually do have a shot to curl down the daily scale. The only problem with that is pullback is still the most likely scenario for volatility. So what if that pulls back and then you just see that pop up by the end of the day? That's going to be something key, or maybe going on into Monday or Tuesday of next week. So that's going to be key for volatility. The crash signal is still on. You have to be cautious as that is curled up on a daily scale and that crash signal is there. The dollar was something I was watching, and I was actually impressed we were able to get above this 101.83-ish level, right? But there are a bunch of little divergences, but I trust my 2-hour. And the 2-hour cross, meaning the dollar might pull back, but what do we do a lot of the time, and we talk about this in the course, we like to break through a zone and then test in the top of it to then get that reaction up. So if we're doing something here to break through these levels, then you most likely will see that 2-hour be able to subside. People get bullish, right? People go into stocks, and then we see that curl back up into positive territory. That would be just a simple swing up, and that is something to pay attention to, because this is a big asset that people run into actually for safety, right? If you want to get out of your risky asset that could see a drop, you're going to most likely go into cash, right? So that is what I'm paying attention to as far as the dollar goes. As far as the main takeaway for this video, I think that there is a way for us to see a bounce. There's a way for us to actually completely just see another bullish run here for a little bit. But as we're in October, as we're seeing the potential for some reversal signals to form at the end of the day for Friday for things like, I would say, Nvidia, things like even the SPY, then we need to pay attention to what the dollar is doing, what the PCC looks like, all those good things. So there is a way up. It's just we don't want to see, if you want things to keep going up, you don't want to see that reversal signal form, and that's going to be key as far as the stock market goes going into tomorrow before a pretty important weekend. And that's kind of what sucks about the market right now, actually, is the fact that every single Friday we see some kind of signal that's like, wow, I have to be cautious. I don't know if I can hold this stuff over the weekend, right? That's what's unfortunate, because it's very it's almost like the market is teeing up like something bad could happen, something bad could happen, something bad could happen. When you see that enough times, it's pretty much the market is saying like something bad is going to happen. And I think that's where we have to read into the fact that the Fed actually did increase by more than what they expected. They actually they cut rates by more than what they said they were going to. They increased it by 100%, right? They doubled it. So 50 basis points, we need to pay attention to that. They're still reacting for a bad reason. That bad reason could have been the dock worker strike. Maybe this stuff starts to go away, but that bad reason could also be some kind of banking trouble. And we noticed that Bank of America actually had a quote unquote glitch. I think 2024 is going to be the year of glitches for a lot of companies, because we've seen glitch after glitch after glitch all year long. All right, guys, so thank you for watching the video. Make sure to like and subscribe. We are going to go into a few other stocks. The first one I see is Caitlin out there, so start to put a couple in the description. I'm just going to do a few, guys. I need to go do some other things. My buddy and I have a little thing to do in a moment. So if you want me to look at a couple stocks for you, I think it's good for us to pay attention to Palantir. That's all a massive move. That's not a fantastic move. This is why you always want to be paying attention to multiple time frames, because you did have reversal signals in here that said the 2 hour is saying, hey, we need to pull back. That pulled back. The 2 hour did say, hey, I have divergence as well. So you want to see if that daily was able to cross. The daily was able to cross. And then you want to say, okay, if that crosses back up though, that can see a massive move. So I want to pay attention to the 2 hour. It's really close to the center line. It curls up right here into positive territory, and boom, we head to the upside. So we do have those ranges for you. At this level, I want to pay attention if that starts to see weakness, but just so you're clear, this is a very bullish move, and if you just consolidate on those shorter time frames and keep going up, anytime you curl up into positive territory, more positivity will happen most of the time, right? You'll test the high or go make a new one, and you always want to be paying attention to how you can manage that risk. As far as Walmart goes, we can look at that for a moment. Walmart showing a lot of reversal signals. This is something that we were paying attention to, right? We talked about this early on in the week. The fact that there is divergence all across this is not going to look good for Walmart, but notice it's still positive. So you always have that chance to violate. Those divergences don't have to play out. And if you see that cross up, that can be a good thing for Walmart to get rid of those divergences and start a new trend. So that's something we're going to pay attention to. But for the most part, I want to see if a daily is ever rotating back down. It is rotating down with the rejection. Okay, we got that rejection at the same time as making all these other divergences. So a daily more pullback would make more sense. And it's just another reason I'm like, okay, the people are still really into the dollar. We're seeing reversal signals from some big companies on bigger time frames. And this is just saying, hey, it needs to pull back further. Is this overall a pullback? Well, it looks like actually we're just seeing the squeeze behavior on a daily chart, and that's a big deal. So that's something to really pay attention to there. As we go over to Oxy, let's go look at that real quick. Oxy, great move. Rejection divergence on the daily, fantastic, love it. That means that I would say this bar right here looked pretty good, but you're able to break above the high. So what we would notice here is if you pull up a 2 hour, you see a very elongated divergence here. Very good tapering, right? We're heading straight down and then it just tapers off. So that's going to be key to understand. The 2 hour did confirm up. It was really close to positive territory. This said go, go, go. We can curl up the daily, and that rejected, creating a daily divergence, rejection divergence, and big move. Okay, so where would we be heading to? Most likely this will run into some problems towards 55.58 unless we just see some kind of gap or something like that. We would really like to get up to these levels to complete that cup, get a small handle on this 2 hour, maybe curl down for a few days, and then see if that can confirm back up again. This is a great move for Oxy. You had reversal signals down here. Very good look. As far as it goes, guys, I just covered a couple. I want to get into more. Make sure to hold on to those. I will be live tomorrow morning, so I will be able to get to those tomorrow morning. But it's showing us there is a way for us to go up on Friday, but we could create some reversal signals, and if we see some rug pull type behavior, we need to be paying attention. So I will be live tomorrow morning to watch stocks with you guys. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I do have to hop off. I just wanted to throw this out there real quick because I wanted to be able to give you guys an update. I just didn't have a couple hours to really go through and make that video for you guys. But pay attention. Dock worker strike suspended, so that could be seen as bullish. We get data in the morning. We got to pay attention to that. We have a big range for tomorrow, so it is a time to really pay attention to the signals and trade like water. Thank you guys for watching. Have a great night. I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Peace.